Hey everyone, this is Helena and I'm here with Adrian Everhart today. Welcome, Adrian.
Hi, Helena. I'm so glad to be back and here to talk with you today. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You look gorgeous. By the way, I love your hair today. And today we're so excited to be talking about how to stop unconsciously sabotaging your love life. This is something we see all the time in women, and we've certainly been there ourselves. And it's just really important to become aware of some of these things so we can shift it and start attracting a whole different kind of man. If you're single, or if you're in a relationship, when you start shifting some of these things within yourself, your man will start to see you in a whole new way, and you can start really healing the relationship dynamic. Adrian, is there anything you'd like to start us off with when it comes to some of these strategies or personas that we have that may have served to protect us and keep us safe, but now they become like maladaptive if they're causing us to push love away or push good men away?
Yeah, I mean they're tricky parts of ourselves. And when I was first learning about this, I thought, well, you have either one or the other, and I didn't really understand how it worked. But the more I understood what a persona is, what it means, I was able to understand how how the personas were showing up in my life and in my relationship. So, I guess a good place to really start and understand is, can we have just one persona, or do we really have an assortment of them?
Such a great question. We're going to be sharing three subconscious personas that can really keep us from getting the love we want. Now, we talk about this extensively in our program that we did together called Find and Keep the One Without Coming Undone. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to keep this one short, and we're going to talk about three of these personas that can really get in the way. They kind of act out and sabotage us at the worst possible moment. I know I've certainly been there. Most women can relate to that. So let me just jump into these three personas. The first one is the protector. So the protector is your masculine energy just trying to protect you. And by the way, to answer your question, we all can have different combinations of all three of these. So as you listen to some of these personas, type it into the comment section. Which one do you feel operating sometimes in your love life? We all have different versions of all three of these, I've found personally. The protector was probably number one for me. That could look like, not giving anyone the time of day, or really like rejecting a man before he has a chance to reject you, not being attracted to the nice guys who want to love you, only being attracted to like emotionally unavailable men. We do this it serves to protect us in some way when we're stuck on a man who's not really fully doing the job, because deep down we know there's no risk of true emotional intimacy there. This could also be like a detective persona that comes out if you ever have the urge to check your man's phone or email when he's not in the room. Could look like anything. Adrian, what do you have to say about this protector persona?
So I'm giggling because, oh yeah. And, even now I'm happily married woman, my protector will come out sometimes, and I'll get this, curiosity that now so much more I'm in my feminine energy. And instead of getting up in this place of my mind and letting that run the show, I'm able to drop down into my body and really discover, like, what am I really feeling here? What am I feeling in my body? It really, sometimes we talk so much about feminine energy, but really it's just about being in your body and saying, I'm feeling curious, maybe I'm not feeling loved. And then you want to always seek first the ways that you can give that to yourself in your own life, being your own best person to you, loving yourself, taking care of yourself, making sure that you're getting all the things that you need in life, so that your man doesn't constantly feel like he's got to give that to you. And so that really alleviates a lot of that protector in me, is when you're able to really soothe yourself and find out what's important for you, and you feel that, you're going to radiate that. You're naturally going to be more attractive to a man. Men are just naturally going to come to you more.
I totally agree. I love how you put that. And let's just jump right into the second persona. That is the controller. The controller can be obsessive, judgmental, manipulative, right? Or it could also manifest in something that seems really positive. One example of that is the giver. The giver is when you're giving and over functioning and constantly doing things for a man in an attempt to get something back in return. It's actually a control thing when we're over functioning or giving to get, or, on a deep level, we might think that that's the only way we learn how to receive love, or you might be trying to, on some level, get a man dependent on you by giving constantly to him so he doesn't leave you, things like that. So the controller, that's the controller trying to kind of micromanage the situation or manipulate the way a man sees you in order to get that love you want. And if you've ever tried that, you know that it doesn't work. That actually has the opposite effect. So Adrienne, what do you have to say about the controller?
Oh my goodness. So that was the one that just spoke so strongly to me. And it's not like you're consciously saying, like, well, if I do this and if I do that, and if I do, it's not like you're consciously doing these things. You're subconsciously doing them. So I recently had a poll on my Facebook page where I asked women, do you feel comfortable with the man buying, your food or beverage on the first date? And I was overwhelmed by how many women said, no, I always pay my way on the first date. And so often that's really sending the man a message that, I've got me and my life so under control and I've got everything going for me so perfectly that I actually don't need you. So it's almost like a little mixture of those two personas going on. So the controller is definitely one that I have a lot in me. I attract a lot of clients who have a lot of controller. And there's really just nothing more frustrating because you feel like you're being good. You feel like you're being helpful and you're just offering this extra help or extra meal or doing something, going, like you said, giving to get, going the extra mile for the guy. And it really just doesn't work out. It really just repels the man. It affects your quality, your feminine energy. It's exhausting. I could just go on with how many negative attributes that the controller brings into your life.
Oh yeah, I've definitely seen that. That's where we get women coming to us who say things like, I feel like I've given everything to this relationship and he's kind of taking me for granted, things like that. So really important thing to turn around if you start to, get into that controller energy. And let's just move to number 3. I know we're a little short on time today. The third persona is the survivor. So the survivor will put up with just about anything because deep down she may feel that there's nothing else better out there for her. Or, that this is like women in abusive situations or unhealthy situations where a man is clearly not treating her well, but she can't leave him. There's a part of her that feels like she can like latch on to him and feels like she needs that relationship in order to survive. So we've all been in situations with men or in relationships where we've stayed way longer than we should have. Sometimes it's easier to look back and see it, after that relationship ends. When you're in the situation, sometimes you don't really know how bad it really is because it becomes normal to you over time, right? Or it erodes your self-esteem over time. And deep down, you start to think that that's all you deserve. So it's so important to become aware of some of these things and start to turn them around. So Adrienne, what do you have on the survivor?
Oh yeah, that's one of the saddest ones that I hear about in women. And it's unfortunately something that I experienced with my own mom growing up. And it happens to women for a lot of reasons. It can happen because you don't have a lot of choices. You don't have a lot of outlets. You may have a lot of children or even just don't really have an education or a good job, so you can leave a bad situation. But more often than that, I get incredibly sophisticated and intelligent women who stay in really bad situations because they love the person and they're in just really bad situations. And there are some workarounds with this, but ultimately the big part happens in that awakening that you're talking about, the awakening to it, where you come out of that subconscious world where it's feeling normal to me. You know, these terrible things are now feeling normal. You awaken to that, and then you can begin making different moves with your energy that will actually improve the relationship. So often, no matter what it is, whether it's religion, financial, some sort of control that it has over you mentally, it's like when you pull a thread on a sweater, it starts off just one little thread at a time, and before you know it, your sweater is gone. So that's how this can really work if you're like in an abusive situation. That part of you will just begin to identify with that person, and you'll begin to endure all sorts of things that, 10, 15 years later, you're thinking, why did I do that? Why did I put my kids through that? Or why did I put myself through that? So that is just one of the more really valuable parts of the program that we have in Find and Keep the One Without Coming Undone, is that we really talk in depth about personas. There's also a cool, I believe there's like a little test in there you can take where you can kind of find out, if a man's a quality man for you or not. It's a little bit like a truth diagram. I mean, it's really an intelligent, well put together program. And of course, we teach you more about personas. And Helena, I believe in the VIP library, you have a book about the personas. Is that correct?
Yes, there's a PDF guide in there. Also, I believe it was the last class, day 4 of Find and Keep the One, where I shared a very, very powerful, in-depth exercise, and everyone loved it. I remember that was one of the favorite things that everyone said they loved about that class was how to shift these personas. You can actually shift these parts of yourselves and the energy so they can start working for you. So just keep in mind as we close out, Adrienne, I know you have to go, these personas are full of strategy. They are always wrapping their minds around an agenda and how they can survive. And we're doing these things a lot of times without even realizing it. So that was our hope for this video, bringing some of these things to your awareness so you can start to turn things around. So let us know your thoughts and experiences with this. Type that into the comment section. We love hearing from you. And if you're interested in Find and Keep the One Without Coming Undone, I'll post a link to that program in the description of this video, along with our other program, Heartbroken to Happily Ever After. You can get those together right now, actually, at a special bundle price when you get them both. So that's what we wanted to share for today. Adrienne, thank you so much for jumping on and making this video really quick. And
Thank you. And I just want to add to everyone, once you discover more about personas, once you discover how you use this, if you have a problem with anxiety or panic, or you don't sleep very well at night, or you're just so exhausted all the time in the relationship, this one is going to free up so much energy, so much mental energy. So I hope all of you will take a moment and look over that program. Helena and I did a lot of hard work on these, and we wanted to make it so that all women could understand how this works, because not everybody has the time or the resources to private coach with us one-on-one. So you can just watch these classes at the comfort of your home, at your own pace, your own time. And I'm really glad to be here again, Helena. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. This was so much fun. I hope everyone got a lot out of this. And Adrienne, I will talk to you again soon.
All right. Bye-bye.